Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at another death battle. This one is a Bakugo versus Reze. I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen that movie, the Reze movie, so I have no idea how strong her explosions are. I've read all of My Hero, so I know how strong his explosions are. I don't know. She is a devil. I don't know if he can put her down even. Like how? Oh, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything more because I have no idea. But what is it with the plush?
Well, look who's here.
Another plush. How strong are her explosions?
Bakugo versus Reze, the god of explosions versus the bomb devil. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Wiz,
how fucked up does she have to get to actually die?
In the morning, the rush of the shockwave, the flash of combustion. I love it when stuff goes boom. And no one knows that feeling better than Katsuki Bakugo. When your name
he definitely does have a cool quirk.
Bomb, it's no wonder he was born with the quirk Explosion. It lets Bakugo create humongous kabooms from his palms. I can only dream of having hands that rad. Quirks are genetic superpowers that most humans are born with. Bakugo inherited his quirk from his parents. Specifically, it was a combination of his father's combustible acid sweat and his mother's glycerin skin secretions, making Bakugo's sweat basically like nitroglycerin. And the more he sweats, the bigger the booms. His parents basically made the perfect kid. Absolutely
the perfect bomb kid.
Shonen main character energy. Bakugo felt similarly. So much so that he started bullying his childhood friend who happened to be born without a quirk. Yeah, okay, he's kind of a snot-nosed turd sometimes.
Kind of a,
come
yeah.
on, Wiz, the kaboom!
Sometimes, like 90% of that entire show.
They're so cool. Quirks are a natural biological feature of a person's body. In the same way that we don't really think about walking or breathing, Bakugo's explosions became like any other limb, especially with his rigorous training. Bakugo quickly picked up on how to use his explosions to obliterate anything in sight, block attacks, launch himself around, and quickly maneuver in midair at hypersonic speeds, which requires a ton of focus and on-the-fly calculations. And despite getting this incredibly dangerous quirk when he was 4, he somehow never
how he
killed
didn't burn his own
himself
house
or
down, who
anyone
knows?
else that we know of. Bakugo was truly a prodigy, destined for greatness. And his only goal was to surpass Japan's numero uno superhero and his personal idol, All Might. In Bakugo's mind, the only person who wins no matter what. Absolute victory. No problem for the main character. Except Katsuki wasn't the protagonist that he thought he was. That would be Izuku Midoriya.
He's just a side character, secondary character.
In truth, he was threatened by Izuku's tenacity despite being quirkless. Really? That crybaby's the main character? Well, Bakugo's inferiority complex would only get worse when Deku somehow landed a quirk that was just as cool, and both were accepted to the same superhero high school, UA High. There, he would learn to be a superhero and fully develop his ultimate moves. Like flying through the sky faster than sound with turbo speed, blinding people with stun grenade, focusing his blasts into armor-piercing shots, or making a big-ass tornado of death.
Yeah, I don't know how he came up with that one.
Bakugo spinning himself in midair with his explosions, building up a tremendous amount of swirling oxygen, and then igniting it all for one hell of a boom. He's pretty smart when it comes to strategizing.
How could he even aim that?
He even developed new techniques for his quirk faster than Deku did. UA High also aided Bakugo's development by preparing him with his iconic Grenadier bracers, gauntlets that allow him to store up his sweat, gross, for prolonged bouts, or to release all of it at once in a single massive blast. He's also got his hero suit, which helps him sweat faster in order to build up stronger attacks. Or the Strafe Panzer.
It's just eating the fucking bubble.
His back that store his sweat as ammo. With all of that, it wasn't long before Bakugo made his hero debut, called the Bombshell Hero, Great Explosion Murder God, Dynamite. Hey, I dig it. The more colons, the merrier. But despite some early wins, Bakugo failed to live up to his own sky-high
he did not like the way he
had
won.
The makings of a great hero, if only he could get out of his own way and put the team before his ego. Especially when he was kidnapped by the League of Villains, ultimately leading Bakugo to blame himself for All Might's retirement. something needed to change.
So he vented his frustrations in a slugfest with Deku and realized something crucial. That the kind of absolute victory that defined All Might wasn't victory for himself, but victory for everyone.
He was starting to become the prodigy everyone knew he could be. I mean, hell, even while he was unconscious, he kept analyzing the fight he was in and coming up with counters. Somehow,
Bakugo's powerful enough to shatter Todoroki's heaven-piercing ice wall, fast enough to keep up with villains like Shigaraki, who can catch light beams, and tough enough to survive, well,
whatever that
dead.
is. Oh yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
You heard us. Bakugo was.
I mean, let's get technical. He did not survive that on his own. If I don't remember what that hero was, the one that could thin out his body like string. If he wasn't there, no, he'd be super dead. He's the one that stitched them all back together and somehow let him survive.
Killed, dead as a doornail, and then a single bead of sweat floating through his bloodstream detonated and restarted his heart. If that isn't main character plot armor, I don't know what is.
his stamina is perhaps the craziest thing about him.
Again, if that dude did not stitch him back together, that wouldn't have mattered, I don't think.
After all, he is tanking the recoil of all of his explosions.
Even with the overuse of his blasts literally tearing his body apart, he kept trying to make them stronger, and eventually his quirk awakened.
Essentially, when a quirk evolves to become stronger. Now, by condensing his explosions into smaller and more powerful clusters, Bakugo could enhance all of his techniques.
Like the Howitzer Impact Cluster, a stunning achievement in the field of explosionology, or kaboom theory for the layman.
Powerful enough to shatter the side of a mountain, or blow apart Uehai itself. Judging by the school's size, we can estimate Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster yielded over 300 kilotons of TNT.
Given Bakugo's
That's a lot of
whole deal is
kilotons.
explosions, it makes sense to science out what a ton of TNT actually is. It's literally the energy contained in 1,000 kilograms of
I am not rating all that.
A chemical compound composed of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon.
That's the recipe for kabooms. Now, imagine a pile of TNT as big as the Empire State Building blowing up all at once.
Oh.
That's Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster.
And these explosions can launch him so fast, it's like
Now, is it just as tall, wide, and deep, or is it just as tall?
time stands
That makes a
still
difference.
around him.
Like when he covered a huge part of this city in a fraction of a second, almost 400 times the speed of sound.
And that's not all. Now he can detonate his sweat remotely. And
Oh.
from all over his body, not just his palms.
With
There you go.
all of this crazy bullshit,
You should have been able to do that from the
Bakugo
beginning,
became
though.
One of the strongest heroes on Earth, enough to battle and defeat All Might's lifelong arch nemesis, All for One. Yeah, that's right, the main villain. Who's the protagonist now, Deku?
Bakugo literally and figuratively surpassed his childhood idol and proved his mettle
The
as a
gaping
hero.
hole in his
Number
chest.
5 on the rankings and rising. Not bad, Kachan.
But more important than proving it to his friends, to All Might, or even to Deku, he proved it to himself.
Yeah, whatever. Take that, losers! Sickest quirk in the world over here! Dynamite! Dynamite! Dynamite!
I mean, yeah, that is a pretty badass quirk.
Death,
Let's not
war, famine,
Let's not
conquest.
sugarcoat it.
Humanity has been
was
plagued by all
badass.
manner of ills since they first crawled out of the primordial ooze. In the world of Chainsaw Man, there is nothing to fear but fear itself.
Is it wrong that I never really finished the anime? I did not. I think I saw half. Maybe a little bit over half, but I never finished it. I don't know why.
Because fear itself is real, and they're called devils.
Literally devils from hell. These monstrous
Ew,
beings are
fingers.
the living embodiments of humanity's worst nightmares, and their power is directly proportional to that fear.
So the chicken devil might be so weak you could keep him as a class pet, like, you know, a chicken. But what
Oh,
about the
jeez.
bat devil, or the ghost devil, or the devil embodying man's fears of one of the greatest weapons it's ever created, the bomb devil?
Little is known about the origins of the Bomb Devil's current host, Reze, if that even is her real name.
She might look cute and
Maybe.
kawaii, but she's actually a Soviet assassin trained from birth to be one of the deadliest killers on the planet. Basically a Black Widow. A cold and lonely existence for anyone, but quadruply so in a world as effed up as this.
But all Reze wanted was a safe, normal, quiet life. As much a fable to her as Aesop's country mouse.
Too bad! You are now a walking, talking explosive. Have fun.
Boom.
Literally.
At some point, the
Were
girl known as
explosions hurt
Reze
her
was
too,
implanted with
or
a
no?
fragment of the bomb devil and became a hybrid, a human possessing a devil's powers without sacrificing their humanity, transforming their body into a living weapon.
As a hybrid, Reze's strength and speed are way crazier than a normal human's, and with her martial
And
arts
she
training,
naked.
she's a force to be reckoned with up close. Also, Wiz, check out the bomb for a head.
Someone like Reze would eat you alive.
Ooh, literally.
Should
Holy
devils
shit.
like Reze take any damage whatsoever, they can heal by consuming blood.
And that lets hybrids survive some pretty insane stuff, like having their limbs torn off, getting bisected clean in half, or
Did he survive that? I don't think he survived that, did he? I'm pretty sure he didn't.
being roasted alive. Just slurp some blood and they're good as new.
Especially useful considering the bomb devil's primary ability is literally blowing herself up. Reze can emit explosions from any surface of her body, even tearing off limbs and turning them into bombs that
Oh,
she can
was that her
detonate
head?
at will.
Okay, wow.
Damn, that's hardcore. She can use these blasts to jet through the sky at hypersonic speeds, maneuver and redirect herself in midair, and enhance the strength and speed of her blows.
Or Reze can send sparks that can ignite the atmosphere in explosions that tear apart entire cities. Making herself
I'm sorry, what?
stronger the more fear her wanton destruction creates.
As long as the area around her is dry enough to maintain ignition, Reze can create as many explosions as she wants, non-stop.
Damn.
She can even turn her own body into different types of real-world bombs to massively enhance their power.
Like transforming her leg into a torpedo,
Wow.
or her apron into dynamite. Every single inch of Reze is a living weapon.
This made her feared across the devil world as one of their mightiest warriors, and the perfect choice to assassinate Japan's newly acquired devil hybrid, Chainsaw Man.
You see, you might not think chainsaws are all that scary, at least not compared to bombs, but the Chainsaw Devil is special.
Any devil the Chainsaw Devil consumes becomes deleted from reality, retroactively erased from humanity's collective consciousness.
Really?
I thought
That's
chainsaws
interesting.
were for boring stuff like trees or Texas massacres. Silly me.
This ability makes the Chainsaw
Why does
Devil
he have
the
that
most
ability,
important
though?
being alive and invaluable for any global power to control.
Except instead of meeting the fearsome chainsaw of legend, Reze met Denji, a dumb, horny teenage boy just looking for someone, anyone, to love.
And for once,
That's pretty much
Reze
every teenage
actually
boy.
hesitated. Rather than immediately kill her target, she got to know him and found they weren't so different. Both were used as tools of the state, as weapons of war rather than people. A kindred spirit in a hostile world, Denji wanted to drink up as much of the excitement of life as he could. The town mouse to her country mouse.
And thankfully, he was super easy for a pretty face to manipulate.
It wouldn't be the only
Ooh.
time.
Is that her
Reze's
tongue? Was that
nothing
his
if not
tongue?
professional, and she gave Denji one parting gift. To teach him the way devils did battle before he died.
As the embodiment of one of the deadliest weapons known to man, Reze's power is off the charts, capable of creating an explosion more than 400 meters in diameter. That's over 4 football fields long.
To have a blast that size, you'd need to be exploding with over 2 kilotons of TNT.
More than comparable to nuclear weapons, which is really impressive considering Reze is not the devil of nuclear bombs. That's apparently an entirely separate thing.
Despite the
is?
bombs being
What?
technically conventional, they're just that strong.
How's the
Likely
bomb devil
comparable
and the
to
nuclear
other
bomb
powerful
devil?
devils like the gun devil, who could travel across the world and kill millions of people in 5 minutes.
That'd be over 500 times the speed of sound.
She's even stronger than the Typhoon Devil, a sentient city-spanning
Oh.
storm.
The literal coughing baby.
Jeez,
to
why?
her
Yeah, why
hydrogen
is it a
bomb.
baby?
Unfortunately
It's
for
creepy
Reze,
looking.
Denji took her lessons to heart and proved he was more than a fitting host for the Chainsaw Devil.
He whooped her ass, but spared her life. Just in case her seduction wasn't a total act after all.
But it wasn't meant to be. Whether Reze chose the safe life of the country mouse or the exciting life of the town mouse, there are hungry cats everywhere.
Oh, Makima, what I would give to find someone to kill you.
Reze's dreams of freedom were never realized. She simply changed hands from one cold, unfeeling entity to another. And this time, there was no escape. She was a weapon, a symbol of man's bottomless capacity for malice and self-destruction.
A living bomb.
Hmm. That sucks for her.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death
I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest.
battle!
I don't know. I'm just gonna go Bakugo because I know that one better. I could be wrong, but I feel like didn't he have bigger numbers? I don't know. That doesn't usually always give them the win, but I'm just gonna go with that one. We'll see how it goes. I could be wrong. I have zero idea about Reze. Oh, we just start right away with explosions.
I've been sent to collect your head, Dynamite.
Apparently his are the only bombs that hurt themselves.
You tell your bosses that after I send you back in a coffin!
How would I tell them that if I was already dead? Wow, you're quick.
Shut up and die!
Yeah, you can't tell who's the villain here when he says shit like that. And the head knocked off.
Oh, damn! Oh, damn!
Yeah, that would just be so not cool. Just knock their head off and they're still running at you. Nah. To what? Question is that enough damage?
Save me, Dynamite!
Let go of me!
Boom.
You also got to consider that some of his strongest attacks that he made at the end were after he was revived, right? So he was like half dead. I don't know, he could be stronger. Let's see. I just thought about that, so. Ooh. Torpedo foot.
For what it's worth, Dynamite, your blood was delicious.
You bit off a bit more than you could chew. My blood isn't the only thing you drank. It's my sweat you should worry about, dumbass!
Oh, he just used that as a boost rocket?
I'm aiming for absolute victory! Howitzer! Impact! Cluster!
Yeah, you better get rid of every single piece. Oh, fireworks, that's pretty.
Scratch that. Not enough for a coffin.
So he won. Okay.
Hey-o! Oh, Denji, we're so sorry to hear about your girlfriend that passed away. She gets 5 big booms. Boom! Boom!
Please just shut up. On the surface, these two seemed evenly matched. So let's break this fight down into 3 categories: their speed, their stamina, and their firepower.
First up, let's talk speed.
Both Bakugo and Reze could rocket through the sky at hypersonic speeds and maneuver and redirect themselves on a dime in the middle of fights. To the casual observer, at least, they'd seem to be on par with each other.
So we have to look at the people they've fought to compare.
Reze has battled Chainsaw Man, who could match and defeat someone using the Gun Devil's power.
The same gun devil that could literally fly around the world, killing millions of people at over 500 times the speed of sound.
Impressive, but compare that to Bakugo fighting Shigaraki, who could react fast enough to catch light beams with his bare hands.
That's over 1,000 times faster. And that was before
Okay.
Bakugo's quirk awakening that made him even faster than that.
With reaction speed of
Yeah.
that caliber, there's little chance Reze could ever get the drop on Bakugo. And would
awakening
likely be
happened
forced
after
to
he's
play catch up in a duel.
dead.
Speed goes to Bakugo.
However, speed doesn't matter if one couldn't truly hurt the other. A big part of this fight is their stamina.
Bakugo's durability is mind-boggling. He
damn.
survived being impaled through the torso and has even brought himself back to life.
But, unlike Reze, his stamina does eventually hit a limit. Every explosion he makes whittles him down just a little bit more and uses up more and more of his sweat. Without a break, he can eventually run out.
whereas Reze can effectively create bombs without respite and from a distance.
Unlike Bakugo, who
Also, she
usually
can heal.
likes to get up close and personal.
Furthermore, her devil hybrid physiology gives her an actual regenerative healing factor,
Ooh.
allowing her to shrug off the same kind of mortal blows that would eventually kill Bakugo, main character plot armor or not.
If this ever became a war of attrition, Reze had it in the bag. Stamina goes to Reze.
However, it's unlikely it would ever get to that point. The biggest factor in this fight was always going to be their raw firepower.
Explosions! First, we gotta compare their two biggest blasts. Reze's nuclear-like bomb against Denji
Damn,
versus Bakugo's
that's
howitzer
huge.
impact cluster.
And the difference is obvious. Based on calculating their sizes, Bakugo's 300 kiloton explosion was over 100 times more powerful than Reze's 2 kiloton blast.
But that's not all. Remember the Typhoon Devil?
Yeah,
Coffee
the
baby or
literal
not,
baby.
To create a storm
Creepy
big
as
enough
shit.
to cover Tokyo's over 2,000 square kilometers, he'd have to be generating more than 400 kilotons of TNT.
Greater than Bakugo, right? But that's not all. Again, Bakugo's howitzer impact once shattered the size of this big-ass mountain. And despite being earlier on in the series, it was ginormous. Almost 3 kilometers in radius.
Or just over 2 megatons of TNT. 5 times more powerful than the Typhoon
Okay,
Devil, and
damn.
way beyond anything we've seen Reze do.
And this
Well,
was
some big
Bakugo
numbers.
before reaching his full power in
Not
his
sure
fight
what they
against
mean.
All for One. Bakugo takes the final edge.
And like I said, he was half
explosions.
dead in that one
And
too.
remember, Bakugo withstands the recoil of all his blasts. So even though Reze had greater stamina, Bakugo was more than tough enough to hang on and get his kill shot, especially with his superior speed.
And devil healing factors can be overtaxed
Ooh,
with enough
damn.
damage. Hell, she needed to drink blood a couple
He
times
ended up like
against
that, huh?
Denji just to keep fighting.
Against someone as fast and powerful as Bakugo, she would not get the chance to heal consistently, or perhaps at all.
And what happens when devils die? They Bakugo to hell.
The winner
course, the
is
puns.
Katsuki Bakugo.
Bombshell, hero, great explosion, murder, god, dynamite. Next time
That is a
on
long ass
Death
name.
Battle.
What is that? Gru? And what? What am I looking at? Oh, Megamind. Okay.
Subscribe and join as a member to
Gru
see
vs.
more Death
Megamind.
Battle. And don't forget to order your very own Wiz plush from YouTube's. Click that link below the like button.
I don't know. I feel like Megamind got that one. I'm not 1,000%, but maybe. I mean, wasn't he able to recreate all of what was that dude? The main, the superhero, the retired superhero guy's powers, wasn't he? Or was all that just an illusion? I'm pretty sure he kind of recreated most of it. The speed, the power, I think. I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on that. So, but yeah, no, this one, Bakugo versus Reze. I honestly for me, it could fall in either way. I had no idea. I had zero idea of Reze's powers and abilities. So yeah. I don't know. I don't think they have to. I don't think they have to half kill Bakugo again to make him as powerful as he was at the end of the series. I mean, could you imagine how strong those attacks were if he was at full strength, like fully healed, not injured? I mean, he had just come back from the dead when he went up against All For One, and he still took him out, which is fucking wild. But yeah, no, I could not call that one. That was just a lucky guess. Or Megamind versus Gru. That's just gonna have to be a guess too. I have no freaking idea. But yeah, no. As usual, these are a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, if you want to see more, go ahead and go to the description. There's a link to the Death Battle channel, and they got an ass ton more, and some really random ones down in there too. So yeah, till next time, y'all. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.